There was a massive difference between my first year writing online and my second. And behind that difference was one simple change of habit. You've seen the title. Today we're going to take a look at the difference between a new writer who turns up every now and then and one who leans in and focuses on a proper daily routine. And if you're worried that that all sounds a bit too much, stick around to the end and I'll explain exactly what I mean by writing every day. So when I first started writing online, I thought consistency meant intention. I mean to do it. I will do it. I meant to write regularly. I wanted to post more. But in reality, I wrote when I got an idea. I wrote when that spark of inspiration seemed to flash. I wrote when life gave me a gap of time. And the gaps between those gaps of time got longer and longer. And the upshot of that was that every time I came back to write again, it felt like starting again. My writing felt rusty, my ideas were vague. Even opening a new blank document felt like a heavier job than it should have done. I wasn't building momentum, I was constantly resetting it. The thing is, I didn't realise that was a problem yet. Eventually, I got a ton of advice from fellow writers, people more established in the world of writing for yourself than I was. All this is very different from writing for clients where you actually have a driving force behind you. Writing for yourself, you are the driving force. And I started to get some advice from other people. And probably one of the most important things I ever heard from a whole bunch of people was, you haven't got to publish every day. You've not got to be out in public every day with your words, but write something every day. Don't let a day go by without some form of writing happening for you. And this is so important, I'm going to say it again. Writing every day does not mean publishing every day. And the reason a lot of new writers burn out quickly is because they confuse those two things. Daily writing is private, it's for you. Publishing is putting yourself out on show when you've got something you want the world to see. They're two different. So what changed when I suddenly realised I could focus on just the writing instead? The first thing was that every day I found that clarity of ideas got quicker each time. When you write occasionally, you think about ideas. When you're writing every day, you think through them. You stop circling around topics that you've thought of and you actually start landing in the centre of them. And you start to figure out what you actually believe about each topic rather than writing what you think you should. If nothing else, daily writing forces decisions, and those decisions create clarity. The next thing I noticed was that speed improves without you even trying. You just get quicker and more efficient at the writing process. That's the weird thing about it. I never remember trying to write quicker. It just started to happen. And I suppose that's because there were fewer false starts, less overthinking, less challenging myself all the time with, is this any good? Just go on with it. Your brain ends up learning the shortest path from idea to sentence, not because you think too deeply about it, but because you're practicing. And the third thing that I realised was changing was that I was getting more and more confident with the writing. Not a loud, brash, look at me sort of confidence, a quiet certainty. The kind where you begin to trust yourself to fix weak drafts and little mistakes that have crept in. Spotting them becomes easier and you get more faith in yourself. You don't panic when something sounds bad on the first read through. You know you've got the skills to change it, to come up with an alternative and try again. And speaking of trying again, you get an extra boost of confidence knowing that you're going to show up again tomorrow. And honestly, that changes everything. Little things start to improve that nobody ever really mentions. Your hooks get smoother, more effective. Paragraphs start to tighten themselves up and you realise where you used to use too many words and clumsy punctuation, and you just learn what works more efficiently, which is brilliant for you and for the reader. Don't waste so much time warming up. We'll talk about that in a minute, but it becomes quick, which when writing is your hobby can be very important. And the great thing is you start thinking about the whole thing in a different way. You stop asking, am I a real writer? And you start asking, what am I writing about today? And that makes a massive difference. And as for the idea of, let's call it a 30-day challenge, I think this is where a lot of advice on the internet kind of gets it wrong a little bit. Most of these challenges push volume, visibility, and output. quantity of output. But what will actually help you improve as a new writer, if you do it regularly, is short bursts of writing. Just low stakes stuff. It's not got to be a magnum opus. Less than 200 words, one idea, no agenda. This isn't some sort of hustle culture thing. This is gently building skills. You're training 3 things: idea generation, sentence flow, and thinking on the page, thinking as you write. And when you do it every day, that starts to compound really quickly. So, what does writing every day actually mean? I said I'd get back to it. It's not anything to worry about, I promise. It doesn't mean a full article. It doesn't mean a polished post. It certainly doesn't mean you're going to publish it for other people to see. What it does mean is showing up. It means moving one idea forward. It means keeping the engine warm. Some days it's messy. Some days what you turn out is boring. Some days it's genuinely good. But you know what? All of it is worth it. And I've got a bit of a secret trick to starting writing every day, and I still use it all these years on. I just start typing absolute nonsense. It's a technique based on the old sort of magical divination idea of automatic writing, where you don't think, you don't try and form an opinion, you just literally let the words flow. You're not thinking, where's this taking me? You're not thinking, what's the point? You just let it happen. So it can start with you thinking, what do I want to eat? What's the last thing somebody said to me last night? Blah, blah, blah. But I very often just start typing, literally typing the words, brain bilge, blah, blah, I don't know. And then the magic happens. The real words start to flow and something makes sense. If you're new to writing online, this is the habit I'd start with. Before worrying about platforms, before worrying about growth and subscribers and readers and all that sort of stuff, just write. Short, private, but every day. If you want help with idea generation and structure and so on and so forth, check out the links in the description and the channel description there. And if this video helps, let us all know in the comments. And what's the hardest part of writing consistently for you right now? Drop us a little post and let's have a chat about it. If you start nothing else with your writing today, if nothing else changes, make this the change. Write every day and then the magic happens. Cheers.